Hey guys, welcome to Faz Radio. Let's get started. That was my announcer voice. We are live.
Oh, you can tell that's canned.
Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to Faz Radio. You have to just play it over and over.
Right? It's only like a sentence and a half. Why do you have to record that?
Because it lets people know when the damn thing starts.
Can't you just say it every time? It's one sentence.
I am saying it. I'm trying to figure out how to get the links here.
We're going to rename this show Grumpy Old Men.
Well, the other guy besides me is the oldest one, so grumpier than me.
Oh, I'm getting even grumpier now that I'm reading about everything in the news lately.
Yes, let me send you links before you get into that too deeply. Copy link address, because I usually start this.
Copy.
Then we make the announcement. So nobody, well, people will rarely hear this beginning part live.
You're a programmer. Do they still have an old program that I used to love called Notepad++?
Yes, they do. Okay, there's all three links. Broadcast that out. Yes, they do.
That's really cool.
I like Notepad++.
I'm going to go grab that.
In fact, it even has a dark mode now.
I have not used it in years. I keep forgetting to download it, and I really need to do that.
So you have the three links.
I do. I'm copying them so I can copy and paste into the announcement.
Wait, there's YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Okay. We are broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
For 2 small payments of $19.95 Gala. All right. Now we need to copy the whole dang blasted thing. Control copy.
Old man and young guy on this show today.
Oh,
we
my
all know who
God.
the old man is.
Yeah, the one with the hurt back.
Hey, I'm pretty proud of how I got that hurt back. Let's not get into that. All right, now people are waiting.
Hang on. Hold up. I love that little thing. You're sending this to how many people? Do you have this connected to the Faz Twitter?
It is. The Faz Twitter link is right there.
Okay. That's new. All right, I like that. That's easy.
All right, so it looks like we got a viewer. All right. Oh, that's me.
We don't have to start paying people to show up here, do we?
Hey, I give people NFTs whether they want. Okay, anyway, continue. You may begin. So you're unhappy about regulation or some new news?
No, I'm not unhappy about regulation. Okay, we know it's going to come. What I'm unhappy about, and I understand, I want to make it very clear here that I understand that there's always going to be negotiations. And so when people put out regulation, they shoot for the moon because they know that ultimately they're only going to end up getting about half of what they asked for originally. So I understand that portion of it. But at the same time, when you have government officials, whether it's SEC or congressional or senators or presidents, who don't understand the first thing about crypto, immediately slapping down these ridiculous regulations that don't even make any sense when you know what crypto is.
And by the way, that's both parties. So we're looking at you, Republicans and Democrats.
Yeah, you know, so when they say, "Oh, for example, one of the links that we posted in the Discord today, I bumped into it on Twitter. And it was a link about how it was Crypto Eerie, the one you like that I don't like. And she put that out there. And I guess some of the regulation is they're just going to default, or what they want to do is default everything that is not named Bitcoin as a security. And then they'll weed through and figure out if there actually isn't any that aren't securities.
It's like, let's just throw everything down, just arbitrary, and then we'll figure it out.
Well, this goes into the discussion you and I had last night on that thing that's going on in the world right now that we're not allowed to talk about. And
What? What are we not
that
allowed to talk about?
COVID,
Oh yeah, yeah.
where you were
That's
saying
it's if it's
about the
non-crypto, I don't want to get into arguments about non-crypto. Yeah,
no
go
no
for
no
it.
no, but I'm comparing it though to what you were saying about the mandate, in that it's easier with large groups of people to just blanket everything and then sort the rest out later. So
Well, that is true.
yeah, going into this like that is going to create a lot of problems, and it disappoints me more than anything because they don't realize the impact that that has. They don't understand that my Trust Wallet account would have to be KYC'd by the exchange. I can't send my tokens off an exchange to that wallet unless I KYC it first. And how am I going to do that? And do I have to do it through the exchange? And then the exchange has all the information. And how does that get to regulators? And do I have to wait 3 days? The more complicated they make crypto is where I think they're going to try and stop it or slow it down. If they make it so ridiculously complicated to be in the space, people aren't going to want to do it.
Well, if you KYC each wallet that connects to the an exchange, that means it's going to be annoying as hell to take a payment or make a payment. So, say maybe you buy something from a store with Bitcoin, and you can do that from your wallet. Well, what if they send you something back and they're not KYC'd? Now you can't get a refund for some product that you bought that broke or something. So it's going to really inhibit a lot of commercial activity if everybody has to be KYC'd if that's the case.
Well, they're
Every
going to force people onto exchanges. They're going to force you out of having your own wallet, which is what they want to do. They want to be able to track everything, and it's harder to do in wallets
oh
if they make it so difficult that you do it on just a major exchange. That makes it real easy. They can just tap right into the exchange and get whatever information they want.
well, the exchanges are going to have a lot of outsized power. I would bet that there's going to be some middleman that's not an exchange. Let's just call them a wallet provider who's going to get in the middle, and then you KYC with them. And of course, what gets me is whenever you KYC, somebody's going to has an opportunity to sell your information, or worse yet, they get hacked. You can get a credit card at Target. Great, Target gets hacked. Anybody you have credit cards with, anybody you have a bank account with right now, they can get hacked, and then your information can get lost, and then you could be impersonated by others. This KYC is a step backwards, in my opinion,
Well,
in regards to that.
let me give you an example of the stupidity that these exchanges are going to at this point. This happened to me about 6 hours ago. So I'm going through. You guys laughed at me the other night in Discord. I mentioned I'm moving all my stuff to Ledger just until all this regulation, um, is done. I'm moving everything to my own keys. All right. So one of the things I was going through this afternoon was I remembered that a very long time ago I bought a bunch of CRO, the crypto.com token, kind of like the BTR or the BNB. They came out with it, and I bought a whole bunch of it when it was like half of a cent, and it's worth a nice little chunk of change now. So I said, "Oh boy, I'm going to take that and I'm going to throw that on Ledger too, right?" So because we're in the United States, they won't let you do it on a desktop. You can only interact with crypto.com via mobile app. Stupidity again. But all right, so I go on the mobile app and I can't send it from the mobile app to a wallet. It won't let me do it because apparently it's in a different format. It's on their own chain. So I'm like, well, crap. I Google it and it says, oh, well, there's a crypto DeFi wallet. It's crypto.com DeFi wallet. You can put it in there and you can convert it kind of like you do in Trust Wallet with BNB to Binance Smart Chain, BNB, BEP20, and the ERC. And I said, okay, so I'll get that. So I go through this whole rigmarole of getting the crypto.com DeFi wallet just for this CRO. And I download it. Well, it doesn't let you use your crypto.com two-factor with it. It has to be a separate two-factor. So now I have two Authy entries.
Oh, try
I
going on
have,
Kraken. You'll have like 5 of them.
oh, all right. Now wait, I haven't gotten a Kraken yet. So now I have this and I get that done. And I say, okay, well, and now I got this. I can go back in and I go to transfer it to the crypto.com wallet because that's an option there, kind of like MetaMask has, internal transfers instead of saying, okay, anyway. So I hit the button and it says, oh, first you have to connect it to crypto.com. You can't do that. And all right. So it doesn't tell you how to do it. There's no instructions. So I go back to the mobile app on crypto.com and it says, oh, connect to DeFi. So I hit it. And then it says, enter your 6-digit code. I'm like, all right, I have 2 of them. Which one do you want? And I put both of them, the Authys in, and it keeps telling me it's wrong. And I'm like, I just set this up. I know it's right. Well, no, they wanted my other password, the one that the 6-digit password that you made when you logged into crypto.com, apparently. So I finally get that figured out. I link the wallets and I said, okay, mind you, this is 30 minutes I've been fiddling with this. So finally I get them connected. I hit the transfer. I go through the whole thing of max coins and, get it all set, and I hit send and it spins for like 30 seconds. And then it kicks me out an error message that said, this transaction cannot be completed. Your crypto.com DeFi wallet was just created. You must wait 24 hours before using it. I was like, are you kidding me? So this is the nightmare that I went through. And this is the type of regulation, this is the type of actions that are going to be taken if we, as crypto people, allow these idiots who don't know what they're doing up in Washington start to regulate wallets. I mean, this is just stupidity to the nth degree, in my opinion. If you're talking, you're on mute.
No, I was doing something at the moment and I was trying to wrap it up.
I mean, with regulation, I understand there has to be some type of regulation. And I understand that the government is nervous of crypto, especially DeFi, because it's going to take a lot of the money and business away from banks. And the government loves their banking institutions, especially that big central bank. and it's going to disrupt things for them, and it's not going to be business as usual, and they're not going to be able to have an adoption of a CDBC that they would want to have with all these other ones that frankly are better. They first have to eliminate the competition, which makes theirs really the only option for people to use if they don't want to jump through hoops. So they're going to come out with a heavy hand, or at least try to. And that's going to create a lot of problems in this market. And I think we're at a point now where if we really sit back and think about this on our own as a group in the crypto industry, over the last, 8, 10, 12 years, the crypto community has managed to build a $2 trillion engine that runs very smoothly, better than the current rails, cheaper than the current rails, and have garnered that much money without 1 ounce of any kind of government fingers in there at all. And now what's going to happen is they're going to stick their fingers in there, and it's going to muck the whole system completely up.
Well, there's something to be said about keeping things more safe. I mean, you could make that same claim. Well, somebody's going to have to defend the government here, even though I agree with you 100%. You could make that same claim about the U.S. highway system and say, well, the Autobahn they have in Germany, they don't have any speed limit whatsoever. They don't have a lot of car accidents, and there's room to say there's a reason why we have a maximum speed limit on our highways is because they can't handle, one, they're not designed for high speeds. If you design for faster than 90 miles an hour, you actually have to have banked turns like racetracks and stuff. It changes the construction of the road. Also, you're more likely to have accidents, and considering the average driving ability of the average person, it's unsafe to be having Autobahn speeds on most highways. I could understand targeted highways and so on, but is it more efficient? Well, yes and no. So there is a case to be made for regulation. There's a lot of people taking advantage of people. I've had friends taken advantage of with crypto, and it's really preying on a lot of stupidity. I do think that there should be a middle layer of service providers in the middle that can provide a lot of these services, and that represents a ton of opportunity. Great, the government can regulate those people. I have a problem with them regulating people who know what they're doing, but it does make some sort of sense that people who know what they're doing probably should have some sort of certification, because they can take advantage of the situation, or they could take advantage of people, or they could really screw things up. So there is room to say that regulation is needed. The question really is how much. You're going to have a loose hand or a heavy hand. I don't think they know, the U.S. government knows enough right now to have a heavy hand. I think that they need to start throwing down some rules and then tightening up as they go, rather than, well, I predict the White House is saying that they're going to have an executive action on crypto very soon, and they've cited national security. Well, national security says to me that things are going to be locked down. You don't use the words national security if you're going to make it easy for people to use. So I predict things are going to become a lot more tightened down, and I bet KYC is going to become a lot more prominent. No, Lon John, I don't think it can be regulated completely, but the United States can keep its own citizens from using it. And then, of course, everybody in all the other countries will be using it while we are not.
Yeah, you and I just had this discussion the other night. There's things that they can do and things that they can't do. and for the most part, they can't shut down the rails of the networks, right? So they can't shut down the Bitcoin network. They can't shut down the ETH network. They can't shut down Cardano. What they can do, and this is debatable because I didn't have time to circle back and fight Faz's argument on this with um, stopping the providers, but there's before before it became mainstream like it is now, even with Silk Road and things like that, Bitcoin still was there and it worked and it ran, even though they tried to squish it, and it will continue to do so. One of the things that I sent out tonight was um, I've been big on the AMP token for a long time. I've talked about it for a year now in the Discord.
But we don't have any official recommendation.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah, I think we're good with the disclaimers. We give plenty of those on a regular basis. But anyway, so the whole purpose of that token is to be the conversion between spending crypto and giving the merchant or store or whoever fiat on the other side. And it works just like a Visa transaction. So you have your card, you run your card at the store. Behind the scenes, it sells your Bitcoin, transfers that Bitcoin into the AMP token, which fronts the money, the fiat money to the merchant on the other end. So there's already a network in place to avoid things like that. Now, is the government going to realize that and shut it down? Are there going to be brilliant crypto people who will take that concept and, circumvent any kind of regulation that happens? Absolutely. And there's not a lot that they can do with that, um, or do about it, I should say. Strike Network, we have our reservations because it's still pretty centralized, for the most part. Eventually, it's moving towards the decentralized side. And if things are done on Web3 with decentralized Strike wallet, there's nothing they can do. And they're going to find that people who have crypto are going to continue to use crypto, and there's going to be ways for them to spend that crypto without having to go back into, just because they can't go to JC Penney's and spend their crypto doesn't mean that they're not going to take most of their money and put it in there and use it on the crypto rails instead. So being international, being global, having the government I shouldn't say allowing, the government ignoring crypto for so long, thinking it was a fad and it would go away. They're behind it. Personally, I think they should take the other route, not make any rules at all. And I think if they were a proactive government and they wanted to succeed with this and become ridiculously wealthy from it as well, this is like the oil, like having an oil reserve. We could be like the Saudi Arabia of crypto if we did it the right way. And you embrace it and you say, okay, well, we've got this new thing. We understand that it's very difficult to navigate. What we're going to do is we're going to embrace it. We're going to take this technology. We're going to uh, explore how it works. And yeah, there's going to be some times we're going to say, hey, it's not a very good idea to do things like A, B, and C. So we're going to look at those, but let's approach this. Let's let it go. Let's get the experts in here from the crypto field, and let's have them tell us how this should be working, and ask them how we should be regulating it so that everybody wins. Now that would be ideal. That would be the way that I would expect the US government at least to react to it. But We're not seeing that. We're seeing authoritarian, heavy-handed smacks with a sledgehammer instead of a proactive approach to embrace it.
So we do have a question about some gala wisdom. I think we could stay on the same subject and talk about how perhaps gala games might, or gala and or town and or the new tank token might interface with these new regulation rules.
Well, it depends on where we end up with some of the rules that they're proposing. If they get their way,
I think
and
they want KYC in there. I really do. I think
well,
that would change things with gala games. That would mean that you would need to KYC with gala games in order to play the game, earn money off the NFTs, and potentially to use the token.
well, as we've seen by the XRP fiasco, they don't care if they shut things down and cost people money in order to get their way. So, again, coming in with that heavy handed and telling Gala Games, hey, until you have a compliant that we think is compliant way of doing KYC, nobody can earn anything. It's going to destroy the company. So, and I frankly, I think they don't even care because they should, but they don't. And I think that could create some problems. Um, what this is so hard for me to say because I've always been the evil side of the gala thing, pointing out all the mistakes and issues and problems, and out of love, of course, because I want to see him succeed. But
Oh,
I
I'm just turning things around. Usually it's me that's talking about all this stuff, and now I'm
well
making you do it.
well no. So um, one of the things that you'll learn, this is for the audience, one of the things that you will learn about Faz is he has a very unique way of getting you to think a different way. He uses fantastic examples to get you to understand the underlying things. And I've said it 100 times. I Faz teased me about it after our show with Carrie as well. You know, he's like, "Boy, you were really kissing their butts." And I said, "No, they deserve it when they make progress because I'm so hard on them when they screw things up. I want to lay it on just as thick when they do well. They've been doing very well lately. Um, and I think they're behind the curve when it comes to being ready for KYC. Um, if you take that example that you mentioned of Gala and Towncoin and Spider Tanks coin and Materium and all these for Miranda's, you take all these and you lump them into a basket, you're going to have a problem on two different levels, I think. Number one, which we addressed slightly, but we want to get into more, which is the Gala token being associated with Gala. That's going to be one issue. And the second issue of these Town and Spider and Miranda's, and then how they affect with play to earn. It is a utility token, which is, at this point, at least from everything I've read, not classified as a security because it has a specific use to be used to pay for things at the Gala
Yes,
ecosystem.
but I did send you a link today with Gary Gensler saying in 2018 that utility tokens can be considered utility tokens, and securities.
Well, I don't think that the game tokens could be considered a security for the simple reason that it's not a common rule 2 of the Howey test. It's not a common enterprise. My tokens aren't dependent on your tokens for making me money. So that
No,
is,
they would be dependent upon Gala Games. That's
well, but they're not, because it is on an exchange. That is one of the gray areas, but it makes a very, very big push over the line of not a security because it's listed on an exchange. Okay. That says that it has an open market which sets the price of that. So the expectation of Gala Games to provide its value diminishes tremendously. Now, using the Materium example, if they keep that as a private token on the Gala chain, okay, and don't have it listed on an exchange where there's open trading available for it, that would push it over the line the other direction, in my opinion, and say Gala Games is absolutely the primary controller of what the price of that is going to be.
what about this notion that just came up today in the Gala Discord about Gala potentially having a DEX associated with their games? Maybe you can click to the DEX within the game.
A DEX would, it depends if it's private or public. If it is a public DEX, that would probably push it more towards the not a security side. And if it, again, it's a private DEX for only people in the Gala ecosystem, and there's where you get into that sticky part. That's where you have to look at it. Boy, is there any other token that's listed on there besides Gala tokens? And no, USDT doesn't count. If it's all just purely Gala tokens, then one could argue, yes, the success or failure of Gala Games game or the company itself has the primary influence on the price of the token, so therefore it's probably a security. Now, there's one more layer to this if it isn't confusing enough already. You have, and people have debated about this, and quite honestly, I've seen several people get smacked on the winky and sent over to us for asking questions similar to this in the Gala Games Discord. And I see them pop up in our lunchroom about 15 minutes afterwards, asking about what Gala does with the tokens when they're spent in the store. So you do have this third layer where it could be scrutinized. What does Gala Games do with the tokens they collect if they're selling legendary Tesla coils and collecting 236,000 town coins? Would them holding it or selling it, how much does that affect the price? And what is their consistent history with that? Can it be shown that they have manipulated the price by using that as an economic lever for the token? That is a big one too. So if they can consistently say, look, every time, monthly, we dump 20% of our tokens onto the market, and then comes the fourth layer, which is what do they do with that? Does that go back into development of games? Does that get paid out to somebody? What is the ultimate destination of those dollars? So again, there's so many layers to this, and I feel horrible for Jesse. I hope he's got about 7 people on his team, 2 of which have compliance backgrounds, because this is going to get really sticky really quick, especially if they're going to rush through legislation like this. There's a lot of questions to answer, because if they're ever called by the SEC or questioned by an SEC regulator and they don't have answers to those questions, oh no, we inconsistently sell Gala, or we inconsistently sell Towncoin. It depends. Well, what does it depend on? Well, it depends on the price. We hold it, and when the price goes up, we sell it. Really? You do? So how much of
I
it do you
think I
sell?
think what they'll probably say is we sell NFTs, and
No,
every
no,
once in a
we're
while.
talking about the proceeds, not what they're selling to the public, what they do with the gala when they get it. Now, that's not our business. I
Well,
agree with
if it's
with
used as a
you.
payment token, it kind of doesn't matter. The point is, what did you buy with it? If you bought NFTs, that's fine. They make NFTs. That's their job. If you bought buying NFTs, then they can use that money to pay their people. That's fine.
No, that's fine. No, no, but again, you're missing the point. It's not what they do with it. That doesn't matter as much, but does what they do with it influence the price of the token? Are they inconsistent with that? If the token just takes a massive dump and they hold it, that can indicate, well, they're trying to use that as a sink and bring the price back up. Or if the price decides to start jacking up back towards, $1.50 again, and they suddenly dump 2 million tokens onto the market to hold the price down, that could be seen as manipulation, which makes it a security. And Gala's responsible for the price movement of that token. Is the lot that they're selling influencing the price to an unreasonable degree?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. At what point did Gallo become responsible for the price movement of the token?
If they take the treasury store that they've received from selling NFTs and suddenly dump it on a market, how does that affect the price of the token?
So, okay, I like to use Magic: The Gathering as a good example when talking about secondary markets and stuff like that. All they've done is they've come up with a payment token, and there happens to be a secondary market for this payment token. Magic: The Gathering actually does what they do, and they have legally stated that they don't recognize the secondary market. Unfortunately, Gala does recognize the secondary market, which I think they probably shouldn't. But whatever the case is, they're saying it's your town, it's your NFTs. You can do with it what they want. The same thing you say about NFTs in town, the same thing you say about town, you can also make with NFTs because they still have a number of Mirandus NFTs that they haven't sold yet. Well, let's just say the price of a Mirandus NFT is $10,000. If they sell them for exactly the same price as you could find on the secondary market, are they responsible for the secondary market? I mean, so this is what I'm getting at. Remember, crypto is property. According to the federal government right now, Towncoin and the NFT that you can buy with Towncoin are both property. So is Gala Games responsible for the price of an NFT now on the secondary market?
We're not talking about the secondary market. We're talking about the primary market and the price of Towncoin. If they liquidate, if they have a town wallet that they use to collect the proceeds of selling legendary Tesla coils or anything in the store that people spend town on, and they amass 30 million town tokens in there, and they take that and transfer it to Binance and sell 20 million of it, how does that affect the price of Towncoin on the open market at Binance and all the other exchanges? Are they a primary mover of that token price? They could be seen as manipulating the market. They could be seen as being the primary effector of that price, not the open market of just you, me, and everybody else buying and selling and trading and leveraging Towncoin. That's what I'm getting at. It doesn't matter what they're selling. They can sell anything they want for tokens. That has nothing to do with the security aspect of it. The securities aspect comes on that back end with what they do with it. And does it affect the price of Towncoin to the open market? That would be like a whale, right? So you get a whale number one, somebody who has, um, 4 billion Towncoin, and they dump it on the market. Is that market manipulation? Probably not, because that's their private tokens. They're just selling them. If Gala Games does it, that can be seen as manipulating the market. There's a difference. There's a different standard for that, because it's not sticky anymore about who the issuer of the token is.
Actually, I'm the issuer of the token is not Gala Games. Town and Gala, they don't issue that token.
Right. We've established that. I said
Okay,
there's
good,
no
good. Just making sure.
right. So really, it's things like that. You have like 4, 5, 6 layers of things that regulators would look at for these tokens. And with the DEX, same thing. Well, you only have tokens related to the Gala ecosystem on this DEX. So how does Gala interact with that? Is this just for players, or does Gala itself use its wallets to interact with this DEX as well? Because that could be seen as manipulation. If people can, then you run into bigger issues as well. If you say, boy, okay, now we've got these Gala chain, which is formerly the treasure chest, right? So we have these unminted tokens, and they've thrown some ideas about, hey, I wonder if we can use these ones in our Gala chain wallet that aren't minted yet to even move around on Gala chain or buy something with, without even minting them. Well, then that adds another layer onto it. Well, is that really I mean, the token is not a token yet. So how does that play into the pricing? Because since it's never been minted, it would never affect the price if you use those tokens. So is that fair? Because somebody could take 1 million tokens in their Gala chain wallet, never mint them, spend it on assets, and it's not affecting the person's taxes potentially. It's not showing up as a ERC20 ledger transaction. It shows up as what? A Gala chain transaction. And then how are they going to provide us with the information for our taxes on that? Is it going to be just an open chain? There's going to be galascan.io where we're going to be able to download all our transactions, and then we got to figure out taxes on a token that's never been minted?
I would hope so, because what gets me about this treasure chest right now is they're like, hey, we got this Gala chain coin. Look at this. Great. How do I report that as on my taxes? Oh, well, we don't really deal with that part of it. It's like, okay, well then I do need to report it on my taxes. So how about I get a good listing of when I was awarded this Gala? Oh, well, we don't care about your taxes. We don't do tax kind of stuff. So it's right now, if you look on the Gala site and you want to know when you get your town coin, what you get like a day ago, a week ago, a month ago. It doesn't really tell you very much information. So we still have to report this on our taxes. That's
we don't have a
nice.
price. We can't get a price for that day
So
without
what I would certainly
going
like
through
is great
hoops.
if we have a Gala chain, if the treasure chest is Gala chain, where's my Gala chain explorer? Is Gala chain going to be a private chain? If it's a private chain and it's not a publicly traded token, is that a crypto? What is that? Is it an account or a crypto? I mean, this is something that my tax person is asking me. What the hell is that? Okay.
To traditional game. It goes back to traditional gaming, not blockchain gaming.
Well, yeah, in one sense, but then again, of course, you can mint it to the ERC as an ERC20 token. So when do you report on your taxes? When it becomes an ERC20 token, or when you get it? Well, what does get mean?
Well, and that's part of it. And you've brought this up several times, is Gala doesn't want you taking that token and selling it. They want you using it within the Gala ecosystem. And one way that they could provide an incentive to keep that token from being sold is to not have it minted to ERC20, keep it on Gala chain and let you spend it within the system. If they make it, again, more difficult, inconvenient, or whatever, to take it out of the Gala ecosystem and make it more incentivized and better and cheaper and faster to keep it within the Gala ecosystem, that's to their benefit. So, of course, that's the way they want to go. Now, again, from a regulatory standpoint, I don't know how that would work, and if we're going to get ourselves in a pickle come tax time or whatever. I just, this is going to be interesting to see how they lay this out, and I hope they don't rush it and have people in a pickle come the beginning of next year when taxes are due again.
Yeah, I am idly curious about how other people are reporting their gala gained and town gained. Like, what how are they handling this for their taxes?
Well, along those same lines, we now have this issue that was brought up, and it kind of keeps getting swept under the carpet with the potential mistake that was made by branding the Gala token with the Gala logo. And is that then associating it too closely to Gala Games, the company? And is there that fine line between, is it a decentralized token or is it a Gala token that they own?
Well, at the very least, I worry about the confusion that it would cause in the, among retail people. Well, confusion even with the government. I mean, I'm trying to think of a product that has an associated decentralized asset that they have with the same name.
Well, I went back, of course, in the Gala Discord time machine, and there was a time when they threw it out to the community to pick the Gala logo. They offered it up to the community in the Gala Gold Room and said, "Hey, which one do you like the best?" And of course, they all liked the cool box, which I love their logo, but that may have been a mistake. It associates it by a name and in logo. You brought up with Carrie in our last discussion those really freaking cool little wood token things that you got with the Gala logo, and she says, "Oh, well, you can't sell that." Well, now wait a minute. Is the token decentralized or not? Nobody should get in trouble for selling a picture of the token because nobody owns the token, or do they? Is that really IP? Is that really? So you have all these things that have to be worked out, and I'm hoping that they're going to be able to work that out one way or another.
I get the sense that it's probably bad form to sue your related community. As far as I know, there's a bunch of coins on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko where I think every one of those coins have a an open source logo associated with them. So I don't know. They'll have to work that one out.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff that just came up today too with those idiots over on the Solana chain that took all the Miranda's foxes and are selling them as Solana NFTs. Okay, now that's IP, obviously. Those are meant to be centralized gaming tokens. So that's completely different.
That's something worth mentioning. NFTs right now seem to be following this thing. If you look at Bored Apes, where if you buy a Bored Ape, you actually get a copyright to that image. And Doug TenNapel's done that with the Neverhood Clays as well. Maybe people are starting to think that if they own a Vox, they have a copyright to it. There's only like 900 of those.
Well, They might think that, but like Doug puts out, in the Discord, hey, you own it. You own the copyright to it. You can modify it. You can resell it. You can do whatever you want with it. You bought one, I think, that has music that you have the rights to.
Yep. One
Um,
day it might even be the theme song for Faz Radio.
yeah, you got to get on
My
that. I really
bugs.
like that one song you played for me. That was really cool. So it doesn't say that at the Vox collectibles. Does it even address it?
Yeah, and that's something I think.
If it doesn't address it, there could be the legal side of that too. If it doesn't say all Voxes and associated images are copyrighted to Gala Games or whoever it is,
That's what
if it
seems to be missing on OpenSea's website is OpenSea. I really think if you're going to have stuff on OpenSea's website, that you should put somewhere on your NFT description or something. This is a copyrighted thing. Nobody's doing that. I do have some bugs, and I put that on mine. Doesn't mean you can't own it. And frankly, I'm sure you can copy it and get away with it. The point is, if you start making money with it, it's up to that copyright owner to enforce the copyright, and they can say, "I warned you. It says right here that this is copyrighted."
Mhm.
However, people are thinking that if you buy an NFT, that you get the copyright. Whatever the case is, I think the people scamming off of Vox, they probably don't own any of that anyway.
No, they probably just downloaded the images. But again, that brings up a good point. Are they going to copyright the Gala token? If I make a Gala token shirt and go sell it, does Gala have a copyright on that token? If so, then there's a really big problem.
They have copyright on the logo. As
Then
far
they
as the
shouldn't.
token, well, who knows? I mean, they might take a position that the token is open, but the logo is not. So it's like, wait, every publication that reports on Gala is probably going to throw that logo up on their publication. After a while, publications are going to stop talking about Gala because they have to go get permission to use a picture
Yeah,
every time. I mean, they
yeah.
wouldn't have to do that with the other coins.
No, I mean, it was a mistake that obviously they didn't think far enough ahead of. I don't think I would have either. I mean, I'm not blasting them for it, but it was just they've got to figure out how to fix it pretty
Maybe
quick,
it's
though.
planned. I wouldn't brand that a mistake. Maybe they intended it to be that way.
Yeah, well, that has a whole host of issues too, though.
Yes, that would be unfortunate.
um, all right, so I've babbled a lot. What other questions do you guys have? Lon John's always good for like 5 or 6 questions.
Yeah, come on, Lon John. Here's your chance. He's saying nothing. We stumped him.
So, cybermanning, what do you mean by it would just be a purchase of an in-game asset?
I think he was talking about when we were talking about if Gala is a private chain coin,
Oh,
then
yeah.
there's
So,
a number of different types of in-game currencies. In fact, I was just reading an article today that said 11 in-game currencies you need to know about. And they talk about the different types of currencies that games implement. So Gala could easily make Towncoin a certain type of in-game currency, but the very fact that it's traded publicly, well, they're trying to say it's an in-game. Well, it's not an in-game currency. It's a currency that you can use. You
well,
own it.
there's more to that though. And this is more of the legal stuff that Jesse would have to probably go into, right? So, let's say I have 5 million Gala tokens in my wallet. Okay. I can go to Uniswap. I can go to Thorchain. I can go to 1inch. I can go to any DEX out there. Bancor. I can go to Bancor's thing. And I can provide liquidity on 5 million Gala tokens, which isn't kind of like an exchange listing, right? And also, sometimes Gala can't even control what exchanges list their token. So It's
I don't
not
think that they control that. If as far as I recall, they haven't asked a single exchange to list their token. I don't know
that's
how
my
this
point.
BitTrue thing works out because they actually had a partnership where you have like a
They
BitTrue
If
NFT.
you go back in the beginning of the Discord, Benefactor talks about he arranged to have it put on BitTrue. So that was planned. But this other stuff where they were saying, it got on these other exchanges, they didn't know about it. And just like Bitbender was saying when I brought up that Solana contract address that I found, he said, hey, we can't control who puts things up on exchanges. So it could be a publicly traded token, whether they want it to be or not. I mean, if I have it in a wallet that I control, then I can take and put liquidity anywhere if I want to. Another layer of decentralization that may not benefit companies like Gala who want to keep in-game assets in-game. They have to provide a much bigger incentive than I could get at a DEX to keep my tokens on the Gala platform.
Well, if I remember accurately, I was the one who suggested that they wanted to keep this stuff in game because it would make them if their stated goal is to purchase NFT is for you to purchase NFTs from them, and them just be an NFT provider and a game provider, so to speak, then keeping it in game just means you can buy more NFTs.
Right. But they can't control that if it's in a wallet I control, because I can take those tokens and do whatever I want with them. So again, then you have that gray line again. Well, what do you mean I can't take these tokens off platform? Is that really decentralized?
Lanja said he's bored by all this tax stuff and he wants to hear about my guild. So
Yeah, you can talk about that. We've spent an hour already on regulation. No, but I think this stuff is really important because here's what's going to happen, especially Lon John. I know you're bored. Regulation is never fun, but here's the thing. I guarantee you and about 4,000 other people, if the SEC comes in and says, shut it down, and you start losing your Gala income, I guarantee you're going to throw a fit. And so we're trying to address this stuff before it happens so that people can be a little bit more prepared, stay vigilant, contact their representatives, contact whoever they need to contact in order to help get this regulation squished. That's why we drone on about it for an hour.
Okay, Dad.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, I created a Faz guild because there are other guilds out there that are trying to suck up all the cool players. I named a guild when I created the guild, and then I got in trouble because people got mad at me for naming a guild. So I have removed that guild name from the EOE site, the Hit Factor site. And so I'm just saying, hey, there needs to be an alternative. We have a number of people here at the Faz Discord. We need to have a Faz guild. It's I plan to talk about these games. I have a sizable EOE presence. I have a legendary star and some Earth planets. I think those are epics, and one of those Jupiter thingies. So I
The hell is a Jupiter thingy?
And I have the planetoids. I wanted to get some NFTs in every area. Hopefully it will be worth it. Hopefully the SEC won't shut things down and make things really, really sad for me. But if that's the case, or sorry, if things go well, then we'll all be able to. I'll have plenty of mines to rent out to people to play the game. Now, from what I understand, the game is a lot like Civilization, and the way it's set up, it seems to look like a board game almost, which that's what Civilization is. I expect actually that it will probably be very complex to play, because chess is kind of complex to play. So I think it's going to be challenging. I think it's Townstar, in a way, is fairly challenging and complex. They just haven't taken advantage of that and made some really complicated goals. I think EOE is going to be very complex and challenging. I'm waiting for them to. I have some Ethereum set aside for when they're going to be selling ships, because apparently you need to fight for your sectors that you'll mine in. And of course, the NFTs are yours. So I think if your planet gets destroyed or taken over, that you'll still have the NFT. They haven't really explained much at all about the rules. And maybe you can talk a little bit, Titan, to you had posted Gala Games posted you had posted a schedule that Gala Games kind of just threw out today of possible dates when things would be done. And unfortunately, EOE was listed as Q2 to Q4 2022, which says to me 2023.
Where in the heck did I put that? Do you remember?
I know,
News, maybe?
Q4, probably in the Gala stuff channel.
Oh, yeah, Gala stuff.
Search on Q4.
Let's see. I dumped it in there. Yeah, it was our buddy Willow. He put that. I was on the weekends. I try and catch up on the Gala server just so I have some ideas on what people are talking about.
Because I do not expect any NFT stealing to happen. No way. I'm not going to spend that much money for an NFT only for have somebody to go yank it at some point.
So these games are cool, and the talk is I guess there's like 22 games that are in progress from what the chat was saying, and only 14 of them are public. They've got probably NDAs on the rest, haven't announced those yet. So for what they had, they put this thing out, or Willow put this thing out, and I think those are pretty aggressive goals. I mean, I can't see. We have 22, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games coming out this year. That makes me a little nervous. It really does.
What gets me is each game that comes out, I feel that the games are going to split their game community a little bit. So let's just say we have 10,000 people playing Townstar right now. I think some people will start migrating over to those other games. If they have NFTs, they'll probably want to keep playing Townstar for NFTs, and that's why you probably want to have the rental system up and going. But it sounds like now maybe the rental system will not be up and running before Spider Tank comes out.
Yeah, there was some conflicting information over there on that. Benefactor jumped in at like really early in the morning my time, so I missed it, but I read about it. And you posted, I think they're decoupling Spider Tanks from. They wanted to release Gala Chain and Spider Tanks together, and they're pulling that apart now. But I think a lot of these, and I want to set the record straight here. When you read that, what they don't put in, and you brought this up to a small point too, Faz, these aren't going to be like final releases of the game. These are probably just betas and maybe even some alphas to where you can get in there and play around a little bit. I'm not sure all of these are going to be fully set to play to earn and glitch free. I mean, there could be a lot of glitches in these games. There could be a lot of headaches. They only have, they've gone from December with 170 employees is what they talked about at Galaverse. There was a post just the other day. Somebody was saying they're right around 250 right now with employees. So that's not a lot of people to get 7 fully functional running games.
Well, remember,
at least in my opinion,
Gala Games is not making the EOE game or the Spider Tank game.
No, but they have to integrate it into the system, and that's not easy.
I can tell you, to be honest, as a developer, once you've integrated 1 or 2, then you basically have the same kind of standards that you're integrating the others into the game. They might have a unique thing or two about each game, but generally, I think the Gala site's going to look. Once they get the second game in, you'll see how the Gala site probably looks from then on for a long time.
Yeah, right now they're using that launcher. for a lot of the stuff except for Townstar. I don't know if they're going to stick with that or not. If they'll integrate it into the platform like they did with Townstar, or if they'll keep it with separate launchers. But the launchers, it dumps a bunch of files onto my PC. I'm not sure I like. And two of them got flagged for viruses, which I know they're not viruses, but
Well,
it
they're needed for to
runs
run the game.
right. Yeah, and but my point is that there's a lot that can go wrong with that versus just having it integrated into the platform. So uh, I hope that they find a way to make that a little bit smoother, and I'm hoping that they're not going to rush these games out. I was telling you a little bit earlier today when we had our chat earlier this afternoon, with this whole grayscale thing, where they're being considered for part of an ETF with grayscale, and
That's
I,
actually a very good thing, by the way, despite the
I
contradiction.
no, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't want to send that impression, but the problem that comes from that is the problem they're experiencing right now, which is the growing pains from getting too big too fast. And the bigger they get, the faster they get, the the I think the quality, they're committed to being a top quality gaming platform. And I think if they're pushed, because they're being pushed with all this stuff right now, because they tried to stay under the radar and be able to take it at their own pace. I think the anxiety of the pressure of being in a grayscale ETF and having wild success with news stories and everything else, I think that's going to put too much pressure. And I think the failures are going to be highlighted a lot more when they're under that microscope. And they're going to have them because they're experimenting with stuff nobody's ever done before. Um, and I don't want that to be the downfall of Gala, is getting too big too
Oh,
fast.
I don't see a downfall here. Come on, that's crazy.
I said I don't want it to be if they get too big too fast and can't keep up.
Gala
And
is a
if they put out 7 games and they're all betas and they're all full of glitches because they've been rushing it, what does that do for them? It takes them right
Gala's.
off the radar and they get dropped from an ETF. Do you know
Wait a
how
minute.
bad that would hurt them if they got dropped from the grayscale ETF?
Gala's whole purpose is to bring in all these games. That's the name of the company. That's their whole purpose is deals. Okay,
Right.
getting deals and partnerships and stuff like that.
Agreed.
Townstar isn't even Gala Games. It's what Sandbox Games is the name of the company. They're just one develop. I mean, Sandbox Games is just one other developer on,
Right.
of the whole thing. So you can say Gala Games really is the website and the partnerships. And then you've got the individual games, which they all have their own CEOs and their own people. He's just holding them all together. So when you say too big, too fast, um, right now they're pretty big. If they've got what 14 games that we know about and several more that we don't.
Right. And I don't think they have to put out 7 games this year. I think they want to. Yeah, they're passionate about it. That's why.
I
But
see them as being
is
a Steam competitor, really. And do you
is
complain about Steam having too many games?
okay, so again, that's what people are going to look at, what they put out as the quality going forward. And if they put out too many games too quick that are too buggy and there's too many problems with them because they're moving too quickly, that's going to be what they're going to have to shake off in order to be very successful. And they're on a path of success right now. They're knocking it out of the park right now. And that's my concern with that many games and how aggressive they're being with getting these alphas and betas out. I want to see that happen. Don't get me wrong. I wish they would. I mean, if they put out 7 games, holy crap.
To be
But
honest, I think I'd rather them go a little bit faster than they're going right now.
wow. Well, I, I don't
They
think
just
that's
have
feasible.
Townstar. That's it.
Right. And let's look at Q1. One more, spider tanks. Q2, let's assume for a moment. We know assuming is a word you hate, but let's assume for a moment they're pretty close to these goals. Okay. So if they were to do this, how much support are they going to be able to provide for problems? They're backed up 4 to 6 weeks right now on tickets you put in today. And if you put out betas that are going to have glitches and people are going to lose their tokens or they're not going to get paid their tokens or whatever the case may be, or there's not enough support in the Discord in order to support all these games that are coming out, people don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to play the game. They don't know how to integrate their NFTs. To me, I would rather them focus on a more achievable, slow release of these games.
Okay,
And
well, you
do it the
got me
right
there.
way.
I would certainly like them to be able to handle the customer service aspect right now because the customer service is getting rather slow. So yeah, I think you have a very good point with that.
Yeah, so they've got to scale up a lot faster, but they also have to scale again. All right, so then you end up in here's where the growing too fast comes in. They go, "Oh my God, we've got these 4 games out now and we can't keep up with tickets and we can't keep up with the Discord with people's questions and da da da." And so they hire 40 people quickly and don't vet them properly. And you end up with 40 people who are the shittiest customer service people in the world who help destroy any credibility you had with getting things right the first time because you're in a rush to hire people because you got to answer questions. The queue's too backed up. The communication gets dropped. Then we've come pretty far with communication improvements over the last 6 months, but then the communication falls apart because everybody's too busy and the company's too big. Do you see what I mean? That's what I'm afraid of. I
Wow,
want to
you
see
got this all
nice.
mapped out here.
Well, I want to see they're in a good place, Faz. They're in a great place. They have come so far from when I was ripping them to shreds last June and July. You got so mad at me for ripping them apart all the time because that's the way I'm afraid that they're going to regress back into that. That's what my fear is. I'm hoping they don't. I'm hoping that they're going to continue to improve like they have over the last 6, 7, 8 months now. I don't know if they can keep that up if they go too fast. And there's pressure and there's eyes on them and they've got to ramp up quickly. I think that could be a problem. And I don't want to see that happen to them. They've come so far.
Good point. All right, so we've been at about an hour right now. Do we want to start wrapping this up?
Yeah, we probably should. It's late for me. I've still got my my day job I got to wake up early for tomorrow.
All right. If anybody doesn't have any questions, I think we're going to be done then. Hopefully, I know we didn't have a lot of gala stuff going on, but we do have some. I think, don't we have another interview with Carrie next week?
We do. And I'm still working. I've totally forgot this week because I got busy. I got
We
to
need to
get
put
back to
out. We
that
need to ask people what questions they want. We're going to try something
other.
different this next time because we tend to because we tend to go long on the questions with Carrie, and we get a lot of get sidetracked. I think we want to do some speed questions where we have a lot of questions for her, and she gives us like 1 sentence or 2 sentence answers to them. So I'd like it if you guys are interested in some questions. We need to start putting them out on the Discord where we can just pummel her to death with questions. Anything you can think of, that would be good.
Yeah, and we want to keep the answers to like 1 or 2 sentences from her. So like try to keep the questions so she can answer them quickly so we can do these rapid fire questions at her. She's really excited to do it too. So if we can keep it short, we can get more questions in, you'll get more answers. So
I'm sure one of our answers could be pass.
yeah, right. We'll ask those tough questions. We're good at that. The CFA group is really good with the tough questions. I freaking love it. So, do we want to have like a special place for them to put that? I would rather not sort through 74 channels to pick up questions. Do we want to have them put the questions in one place?
That's a good point. I can create a room. I
All
shall
right.
create a room.
All right. So, yeah,
I'll create
Faz
a
will
channel.
create a channel. And we're gonna have maybe call it like ask Carrie anything.
There you go. Good idea.
And then that way we'll consolidate. Please do not chat up the room and argue in the room, or let us sort
That means
through
you too,
just
Titan.
yeah, I know I'm really bad with that. Just throw the questions out and we can get a nice concise list to where we can just kind of fire away. We don't have to scroll for, 10 minutes to find the next question. And we'll fire those questions out. We'll, of course, give you credit for your question. And we'll see if that helps get way more information out.
Great. And well, yeah, sort of an AMA. I guess that's what it is. Well, there's a difference between, I've noticed there's a difference between them hosting an AMA and us interviewing them. Because when they host an AMA, they just kind of pick and choose the questions they want. They're like, oh, this one looks easy. I think I'll answer this one. Oh, that one looks easy. Faz's top 10
Right.
questions. Yeah. And when we ask them questions, they do kind of squirm a little bit.
Well,
You don't see them squirming on their own AMAs.
and the second part, and you might want to remind Carrie about this too. We talked about maybe having a partner of hers. We love having Bucks in there too. Bucks usually shows up. But maybe, a developer person or a customer service person that can help fill in some of the gaps as well. Because Carrie is primarily on the Townstar side and with the marketing. So, we may want to say, hey, if we start seeing questions along the lines of why are these tickets taking so long and all that, maybe have her have someone handy or have someone else join the show as well that can maybe jump in and give some different insight.
All right. And on that note, I think we're done.
Very cool.
Thank you very much,
Thanks.
guys, for attending. Very much appreciate you guys showing up.
Absolutely. We'll see you in the Discord.
Bye-bye.